The Beach FM Business Lunch Show, brought to you by PlaceMakers Kapiti Horowhenua. Together we're building New Zealand.
You're back on the Business Lunch Show on Beach FM 106.3. Let's talk brewing now. Let's talk to North End Brewing from Waikanae. It's Kieran Haslett-Moore. G'day, Kieran.
G'day, how's it going?
Yeah, good, mate. How are you doing at this time?
Yeah, very good. In the brewery here making some beer.
Life could be worse, I guess.
It could be.
Hey, mate, what we like to do first and foremost on the show is get to know the people that we're talking to. So, mate, how did it all come to be? How did you learn your craft? Where did it all start?
Well, I'm a former cheesemonger, home brewer, former beer writer, general foodie, beer salesman. Basically crafted a career in fermented food, and it's led me to running a brewery on the Kapiti Coast.
Oh, wow. So literally learning your craft in different sectors, I guess.
Yeah. As a beer writer, I was a beer judge, so I learned about what good beer was and what faulty beer was. And then I've always come to beer from a sort of food background. Yeah. So I used to run the cheese program at Wilson's Fresh for a long time. And then I used to sell beer at Regional Wines and Spirits in Wellington as well. So kind of come into the brewing world from a few different angles, I guess.
Fantastic. And tell me, how does one become to do those things? Like, is there study involved, or do you just pick up a pallet one day and go with it?
There is study involved, but I didn't study. I just got ushered in through people who were already in the industry who thought I had a decent palate and liked my writing and liked my sort of attitude to things, I guess. And
fantastic.
Ended up getting put up at the judging table once, and then that was experience to carry on and do it again.
Fantastic.
And again.
So, with your background in writing and judging and being that person, how's your focus now so much when you're on the other side? Do you still have that mindset, or is it all about the product?
I came to a point where I had to decide whether I was a critic or a brewer, and chose to be a brewer. So I try to focus in on that. Yeah. So I guess my focus these days is making good beer and running a small business and keeping our pubs fed with beer. And it's a bit different to being a critic and a writer.
Absolutely.
But one's a good bedrock for the other.
I'm sure you're still yourself's biggest critic. Yeah,
for sure. And I'm not sure of an opinion on beer in general. That's for sure.
Well, mate, so you have all these different industries that you've been working in that has led you to this game that is yours. So how did you start it from the home? How did it become from the home brewery to North End Brewing?
So I was brewing at home. I was doing cheese for my day job, and I got headhunted to Regional Wines and Spirits to run their beer program. And in the sort of process of doing that, started doing collaboration brews with Emerson's Brewery in Dunedin.
Okay.
So I'd go down a couple of times a year to brew beer down there, and that was me learning about how to brew beer commercially. And then from there, my current business partners contacted me, wanted to add a brewery to the restaurant and bakery group up here, and we sort of embarked on this project that's led us to here. So.
Fantastic. Now, it has been a wave the last few years, the craft beer or the unique beers that are out there. How did you want to be a point of difference? Was it, going off what you like or what people were looking for?
Probably to a fault what I like. So we're pretty firmly European inspired as a brewery.
Okay.
English beer and Belgian beer in particular. Got some German inspiration there as well. We sort of steer away from a lot of the sort of hype beers that are out there, and always try to ground ourselves in that tradition. And then also we're a restaurant group. I come from a foodie background, so there's always a guiding principle of making beers that go well at the dinner table, go well with food, rather than maybe some of the trends at the moment that include adding food to the beer. We'd just like a beer that goes well with food. So, yeah.
Very good, very good. Okay, so with you starting this out, this is the business lunch show, and I am getting hungry talking about all this, and thirsty, of course. But what were those learnings in business, mate? Going from doing what you were doing to now, this is your baby, this is what your product is. It's all on you now. How was that business mindset come about for you?
Well, I've got an arts degree in sociology and politics,
right.
And I come from a foodie background, so I'm not a hard-headed business person.
Yeah.
My business partners in the group, probably that's what they bring. They certainly bring skills of how to sell the beer, but also skills on how to run a small business. But it's been a learning curve for all of us, because in a restaurant, you get the money, unless someone dines and dashes, you get the money in the till, whereas in the brewing industry you can have people owing you lots of money, and it can get pretty tight at times. Yeah. So there's been certainly some tight moments cash flow wise, and learning how to manage that, and learning when to stop adding beers to the range. The market always wants more beers, but the market doesn't necessarily suck them up fast enough to make more beers. So there's been a few lessons there.
Absolutely. Hey mate, how's this last crazy 6 months been for you? I mean, the hospitality industry has been affected. We've all been affected in our own different ways. How was that time for you? Did you get to regroup, reset? Did you get mad scientists in the laboratory with things coming up? How has this time been for you?
There's certainly been a bit of resetting. I mean, we've been an essential service right the way through, but through the first lockdown, we stopped brewing altogether, and we just ran our web store, and just came in 3 times a week to do that basically. So it's been that was certainly a big step down from normal production. But with the government support, we've come through in as well a state as anyone could, and it's certainly changed the way people buy beer a bit. There's a lot more takeaway sales and a lot more packaged beer sales than we had in the past. But it's not necessarily a bad thing. So we're fairly positive on the outlook. We're still here, so that's pretty good.
Excellent, mate. And I know you're busy, as you said. You're brewing at the moment, talking to us with you and your mindset of the beer paired with the food. Has there been any local collabs with anybody that you guys have put 2 and 2 together? Well, we have in our business group, we have a couple of restaurants. Right. So we've got Saltwood Collective at the brewery, and then we've got Long Beach Tavern down at Waikanae Beach. Also got the Old Beach Bakery down at Waikanae Beach. Wow. And soon to add another one in Papakariki. So I guess as far as collaborations go, yes, collaborated with our own outlets. Yeah. The last 2 winters, we've done a pretty awesome event out on Kapiti Island, out at North End, where we take people out and do a beer and food dinner, or beer and food lunch out there with Long Beach. That's probably a pretty big highlight. COVID's kind of messed with that this year, but fantastic. It's pretty awesome. Awesome, man. Well, I appreciate your time, but what else is coming up for you guys? Why I reached out is, you have a launch, and you were humming and hurrying about doing the launch, but you're going to do the launch. So let's talk about the launch.
Yeah, so my father passed away last year, and so I've brewed a beer to sort of honour his life, and we're releasing that. We've just released it today, so it's now in the cellar door for sales from the brewery at Saltwood Collective, or from the web store, but also we're doing a launch in Wellington at Little Beer Quarter tomorrow night, which will be a table service only level 2 launch, but should be good. So it's big English strong ale, old ale that's been barrel aged with an old English yeast, and 10.5%. Designed for aging, laying down. So for the 2060 best before date on it, and it's a big beer.
Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Well, thank you, Kieran, for talking to us today. But lastly, mate, as always, where can we find you? How can we get in touch?
Yeah, so you can find us at the Saltwood Collective at the Cellar Door, which is where the brewery is in Waikanae, down at Long Beach Tavern. Regional Wines and Spirits in Wellington always stock us, and Little Bear Quarter, Golding's Free Dive, and then we pop up at all sorts of other spots around the free taps of Wellington. northendbrewing.co.nz is the best place to come and get it direct.
Excellent, Kieran. Thank you so much for your time. Go well, my man. I'll come and see you real soon.
Awesome. Cheers.